minutes after 8. Now, many honorable Peter Nochuko to Ebedi and Komo were no a member of parliament and the good people of Akatsi North and so were ranking member on Parliament Select Committee on Education. And the controversies are Ashasia Eba. Aban should cancel the free SHS policy or not. The economic hardships and difficulties are ever Ghana's current educational sector. The stance of it, you tag for cause strike and chair beyond one way resume. Ningina putting all the matters together. Now you need the ranking member on a year education select committee. No any and come up. Otiminka, good morning. As I say.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. Yourself?
Yeah. Very well too.
Okay. Yeah, the brofoni training in
Yes, that's my challenge.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a very nice discussion. But first of all, how is Parliament doing?
Oh, Parliament is doing well. I'm sure you are aware of the Supreme Court ruling.
Yes.
Yeah, that Parliament, we are no longer masters of our own rules. So we want to go by the rules. So 2 days ago and yesterday, I'm sure you listened or you watched proceedings where we could not vote on a number of issues because we did not have the numbers. To take a decision, you need half of the number present. To start business, you need at least 92 members to be present. So that is our challenge now. So we want to play by the rules. Once Supreme Court says we are no longer masters of our own rules, we will go by Article 104 and 110 of the Constitution to make sure that we do our work as parliamentarians. But in forming a quorum,
if you do not have 1/3 of Parliament, then it means that the business of the day cannot commence at all.
Yes.
So far as you are able to do business, then it means that you had a quorum.
Yeah, that see, we have a quorum for meeting and quorum for decision. So the quorum for meeting is 92. Okay. That is 1/3.
Yes, 1/3.
But quorum for decision is half the total number, which should be at least 138. So once we did not have it yesterday, we had to adjourn.
So what policies have been suspended so far in terms of adjournment before you went on recess?
Like yesterday, we had to approve a 200 million euro German loan for some energy projects. But because we did not form the quorum to take the decision, we had to adjourn. And the previous day too, there was some loan agreements also on hospital projects. But because we did not have the number, we still had to adjourn.
Now, when you say you did not have the number, is it in terms of, or is it in reference to the minority or both sides of the political divide?
Once we don't have the numbers, it's both sides. Yeah, so even if we were 137 present, we were short by one as minority MPs. So we needed both sides to be present to enable us to take that decision. So it's both sides. Therefore, when they say we don't form quorum, it is neither the majority side or the minority side. It's both sides that must be present and make sure that we have the 50% of members present and voting.
Okay. But it is reported that Parliament's activities have come to a halt. It seems to me that nothing is really happening in the House. If you look at the other paper and then the businesses that have been arranged for discussion and deliberation and all, some of which have been repeated severally, but yet still we do not have a decision made on those particular items on your other papers. What is actually happening with the business committee?
For the business committee, every week they present their programs for the ensuing week.
Okay.
And I think we have been going by, if you follow proceedings very well, we have statements, we have questions being answered by ministers of state. And then other businesses we do. Like last week, we passed the Student Loan Trust Fund Amendment bill. So work was in progress. So we do we work on programs or bills as and when they are necessary. We know we took the supplementary budget estimates bill in the week, and because we had the number, it went through. Yeah, but this time we are insisting that we must have the full number that is required for us to take a decision. Yeah, so
But
that's
you agree with me that some of the items on the other papers have been rescheduled severally, but yes, still, we do not see when we will have closures on those decisions made. For instance, the e-levy, we do not know when its introduction will come back again. We were told that the president was supposed to have delivered to us a state of the nation. That one too has been postponed. We do not know when it will be scheduled again on the other paper. So what is actually happening with those two major events or activities?
Well, we were expecting the president to deliver the State of the Nation address last month, because normally when we come after 6 weeks, the president appears before the House, addresses the nation through Parliament. And we're expecting that. What is keeping them or keeping the president from coming is our challenge. We have not been given any reasons for his inability to appear before the House and present the SONA. So we are waiting. Probably today we are going to have a business statement for next week. And we are praying that it will be on the business statement for next week. See whether the president will avail himself that opportunity to address the nation. Then we have some other businesses appearing severally, as you said. Like we have a number of private members' motion. Yeah, I have one which has been pending for some time now, since November. And I hope that we will take them, because they are very, very important. We need to redirect education in this country. So we are expecting probably Speaker himself would wish to be there for some of these motions to be taken. Because he has interest in some of these motions which he wants to moderate and see how best we can adopt them. You can also see that
some of which includes which ones?
Like the GET fund, we want it to be decapped. That is, they should remove it from the list of capped agencies, so that they can get enough revenue to run activities of education in the country. We have another one also on events that happened during the 2020 elections. We have another one about WAEC. We want WAEC, these leakages, examination malpractices to be probed. These are some of them that have been pending for some time now.
When are we going to see a reintroduction of the e-levy policy?
Well, that is for government to bring. The finance minister has to do so. Whether he's coming to withdraw what he laid in November, or he's coming to continue with that one, or otherwise. So we are expecting them. We are only having speculations. Some will say, oh, it is going to be today. Some will say next week. So we want it probably to appear on the business statement. Apart from the business statement, at a time they can lay it as an urgent bill for us to consider. So we are expecting them to come and lay it, and it is government business. So minority, we are waiting.
But has the minority shifted from your earlier stand of rejecting the A-levy? Should it come again?
Well, our positions remains the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we will not change our position. Our 137, as we have it today, will continue.
But the economy is facing challenges. So if the minority still stand by its decision, then it means that this country is not going to see any sort of progress.
I disagree with you. In the previous years, there was no e-levy, but things were going on well. Why has it become so necessary that it's only the e-levy that can save this country?
And it's necessary because we have challenges now.
Yeah, if you have challenges, go back and look at what you were doing wrong so that you can correct them. If audit reports shows that we are losing over 12 billion a year or so to corruption, why don't you check those loopholes and make sure that you make corruption unattractive, and then you can raise more money, save more money for those things, and then cut on these frivolous expenditures, and then you can make money to run the economy. I don't believe that 6.9 billion is only what is necessary to run this country. I don't agree with them.
And that brings us to our main topic for discussion today. This is Kessben. Now, many durable Peter a year, not sure Anna Edin Como, or no a year, Akatsi Akatsi North, Mrashe was also a ranking member, minority spokesperson on the educational committee. And the tree no Elshada, Papa, a Jebedible for Umana, Mabonetofa, Eddie, Ama Yashasi, na and Komodo Yashasi, the free parliament. The year Yentia, near money beer, as I said, parliament, and Namrashe Bijafono, a young Weduma, bills, Nibu or motions, Nibu Honuma, one more Eddie Asher, one crata, so some being Weduma, but one more dishes to me, and woman to me, and Sijan, I qua na Sanso, Abebim, Dedica, a State of the Nation address. Abosumi Trim Nanke, so one penny, Emma. We are told, say, one more to date, no Eddie Asher, basically, Yenim da, or one penny, Ebema, the State of the Nation address. There to be no a private motions are one more filing about get fund. Say, yin to me and cap get fund. Name of no, a baby cap no, Eddie free so now, I feel get fund no, et me a generator sika, a bed door so a bit me a binan casanso. I hear a lot of developmental project when it comes to my yadisu yahu ensem. Enti anomon komo ana yegusu ayebon. But yeba sesi ya bedin komo on Ghana's educational sector. What is the current state of our educational system in Ghana?
Well,
from the basic to the tertiary level, I mean.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I hope that is how you are addressed. Yes. The state of education now is not the best. Not the best because right from the basic level through secondary to tertiary, we are facing a lot of challenges. Now, if you look at the basic level, for instance, for 3 years now, a new curriculum has been developed, but there are no textbooks for both teachers and students to use on those subjects in the curriculum. So we don't know what the teachers are teaching our children and what the children are learning.
But we are told the teachers have been given a handbook.
A handbook
is manual.
A manual is not a textbook. You and I can agree that when we were in school in those days, if you attended a public school, you realize that, for instance, English language textbook was there. So whatever book you were reading in Kumasi Anglican Primary School was the same you were reading at Abraka Presbyterian Basic School. All over the country, they have uniform textbook. So it was structured in such a way that at the end of the year, you must have covered that textbook all over the country because it was developed in such a way that it will make sure everybody had the same knowledge. So, but as we have now, the teacher will only lay hands on any book that he or she sees relevant and go and teach. You see, so that is the challenge we are having. We don't have any prescribed textbook on the syllabus or the curriculum for basic schools as we speak.
What has
now
caused the delay in the publishment?
Well, we have asked a number of questions on the floor of Parliament, and Minister continued assuring us that they were in the process of procuring it. For 3 years now, they are still in the process of procuring. Now, NACA told us over the weekend at a meeting in Akufo-Addo that they had finished with their work. They had recommended the textbooks that should be printed. But we don't know what is happening. So we were thinking we will meet the minister this week as a committee, but it was not possible because of other engagements that the minister had. So the situation is very dire at the basic level, especially with textbooks. Now, if you move further,
let's clarify this. How long should it take a government or the ministry to provide textbooks for this basic school, especially when NACA is done with its work of designing the curriculum?
I think that it shouldn't take them more than 6 months. Because I know those days when we had something we call a curriculum development unit, which is now NACA. They will assemble experts in various subjects and task them that go and develop a textbook for this subject. If it is English language, history, or social studies. So you will see that there will be various teams. They will camp them
working on different subjects.
So within a very short time, the textbooks are ready. we all agree that with time you should be changing your curriculum, looking at developments that are taking
and
place.
the new trends.
Yes. But the government, I don't know, the Ministry of Education
Kessben
is so reluctant
FM.
and inactive on this issue of textbooks. I don't know how long it is going to take them. So very soon, the year will end without textbooks.
Has the work of NACA been approved by the committee? What NACA actually did? Is it approved by the committee, by the ministry, by GES? Are you okay with the finality of work done by NACA?
Well, as a committee of Parliament, we are not involved in developing the curriculum.
Okay.
Neither are we involved in the development of any textbook. Our interest is that textbooks must be made available in our schools, and those textbooks should make sure that they carry everybody in the country together. It's textbooks that will not divide the nation. If it is on history, they must tell the true history of the country. They should not make it any biased history. Anything that is national in character, we will accept it. If you remember last year, there was an issue about some textbooks being developed by some individuals. We had to call them to Parliament to withdraw those books from the market. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure if the NACA, as they told us, approve the textbooks and the textbooks come out and we have challenges with them, we will call on government and the Ministry of Education to withdraw the textbooks if we find them unacceptable to the Ghanaian society. So it shouldn't take them any long time. 6 months printing textbooks wouldn't have been, because there are a lot of printing houses in this country that are looking for a job. They can do quality job. And then
yes, but you are the ranking member on the Select Committee on Education. So what is actually the problem? For the last 3 years, hasn't the committee done any sort of work to inquire about the delays that has caused this?
At various stages, they will tell us, oh, we have reached this stage, so we are in the process. Recently, the minister said, oh, they are now doing the procurement.
Okay.
And how
the procurement of the textbooks.
Textbooks, yes. Okay. That is engaging the printers. And how long is it taking them to engage the printers or the publishers to make sure that the books are available? As we are talking today, I don't think they have given them the mandate to go and publish any textbooks. So that is the challenge we are having. And it is not the best for us. Because if you see what the private schools are doing is even from what the public schools are doing. And meanwhile, we are preparing all of them for the same examination at the end of the program. So I don't know what is happening. The ministry is keeping quiet. And I think Parliament, we have done our part by calling the minister through question time to explain. That was June last year. He told us it was almost ready. Textbooks were almost ready. This is the 9th month. And this is the 3rd year of the adoption of a new curriculum. So
but I'm a bit shocked because as a ranking member, then it seems to me that Parliament Select Committee on Education does not even have much information on the delays that is being caused with our busy schools. Now, the point again is that how do we tackle this? Is it a case of lack of funds to initiate this project?
Well, on our part as a committee, especially the minority side, we are the voice of the committee.
Okay.
Those who are from the majority side or government side will not like to make comments publicly. So we have taken it upon ourselves to talk for the committee. We have been talking every opportunity that we have on the floor. We say it. We have asked questions, and it is for the minister to tell us what the challenge is, instead of telling us every day, oh, they are in the process. So we are beginning to think that probably it is financial difficulties or challenges that they are facing, which they are not ready to tell us. Because I know in the budget, there was provision for it.
Okay.
So if there was a provision in the budget last year, you didn't do it. This year, there's a provision for 2022.
How much is allocated for that?
Well, I would not be able to say immediately, but because we have what we call goods and services.
Okay.
Yeah, so it comes under goods and services, which they must use to provide the textbook. So the minister should come out and tell us whether it is financial challenges they are facing or they don't have competent publishers in the country to publish the textbooks.
But all these years, we've had the competent ones to do such works, right?
I believe so, that there are very good publishers in this country who can print the textbooks for our schools. So it is for the ministry to tell us what is preventing them from printing the textbooks or publishing the textbooks for distribution to our schools.
So at the basic level, that is the challenge we are faced with.
That is only one of the challenges.
That is only one. Okay.
Yes.
What are the others?
Another problem is that of infrastructure.
Okay.
If you watch television stations,
Schools under trees.
Under trees. And you will see that we are not doing much to eliminate these schools that are under trees. The classrooms are dilapidated, and in fact, some have poor ventilation. Furniture is a major problem. You see some schools where the children have to bring kitchen stools to school to enable them sit and then learn. Some lying prostrate on the ground and then writing on their slates, yes, or exercise books, and it is not the best. So government is failing in its responsibilities. That is why we want to decap Get Fund so that they can get enough money. See, Get Fund is under stress because Get Fund has become the cash cow that they call it. That everything about education is dumped on Get Fund. Even the supply of vehicles to schools, motorbikes to education offices, is Get Fund. So allowances to teacher trainees is Get Fund. Scholarships, local and overseas, Get Fund. So you see that Get Fund is overstretched. And if you have all these responsibilities for Get Fund, and then say you are taking about 25% or more of their income, and you want them to do more, we can't get anywhere. So,
but aside the Get Fund, which other fund or account do we have as a purposeful vehicle to initiate some of these things?
I can hardly say there's any other fund apart from other probably establishments that support Get Fund. Maybe if we have a Valco Trust Fund in those days.
They were supporting,
yes, by providing vehicles and infrastructure. Yeah. Now, recently we have that oil management company. I can't remember the name very well. They are also doing it. Yeah, they are providing classrooms for.
So they provide some sort of donation to Get Fund.
Yeah, no, they don't donate to Get Fund. They do their own projects.
Okay.
Yes, they don't give money to Get Fund. Get Fund has no other source of money apart from the 2.5%
that goes in there.
Yes. So if government doesn't release that to them, they are handicapped. So since July last year, government or Ministry of Finance has not released even one CD to Get Fund.
But you have the scholarship secretariat as well.
Yes, scholarship secretariat. There's a percentage of Get Fund money that goes to scholarship secretariat.
Okay.
As well as the Students Loan Trust Fund. So you see how Get Fund is suffering.
So that money is disbursed to all these agencies, Student Trust Loan, and then Scholarship Secretariat.
Yes.
Okay. So they all track their source from the Get Fund.
Yes, exactly.
I see.
Yes. So apart from any, they have other budgetary allocations. Maybe Office of the President to Scholarship Secretariat, because Scholarship Secretariat is under the Office of the President, not the Ministry of Education. Then the Student Loan Trust Fund is under the Ministry of Education. Yeah. So Get Fund must give them money for all those things. So Get Fund is overstretched, and if it is overstretched and you are capping them again, it's not the best. Meanwhile, you have asked them to go for a loan of $1.5 billion.
Okay.
So you are even using the little income that is left, part of it, 60%, to pay the loan. So in effect, it is only 40% that is left for Get Fund to do all these things. How can they do it? You see. So government must take off some of the responsibilities from Get Fund. If you want to pay training allowances, go and pay them from other sources. Because before we handed over power in 2017, teacher training allowance, it was not allowance, it was a complete salary that was paid by controller. They were on the payroll of a controller and accountant general department. Yes.
So they were not using the fund.
Not at all.
In the payment.
Yes, it was a normal payment process that was taking place. But now they have moved that to Get Fund, and they cannot even pay the allowances for over 6 months now. Teacher training allowances have not been paid. So also is a national service. Yeah, over 3 months they are in arrears. And their salary or their allowance is 559 Ghana cedis. How would they go to work? Especially those in the cities, transporting themselves is a very big challenge for them. So education is just going backwards day by day. And if the situation is not arrested, we are not going to give quality education to our people.
Yes, but some time back, we were told that the government is secretizing Kessben to secure some bonds. How true is that?
Yeah, Parliament in 2018 approved $1.5 billion for Kessben.
Okay.
Yeah, to go to the capital market and then get that money.
Okay.
And then they will be able to finance their programs and projects. Yeah, but let me say that they have not been able to get all that money.
That is Kessben.
Yeah, the 1.5 billion, they have not been able to get it. Because it's becoming very difficult for the banks to lend money for government programs, for fear of, are we going to get our money back in time? You see, so far they have got about 2.54 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, if you convert that into dollars, it is not anywhere near 500 million. You see, so Kessben by itself is getting it difficult. Anyway, when we are approving the facility, we spread it over a period of time, so that they will not go in and take everything. They were to take it in tranches, $500 million, yeah, over a 3-year to 4-year period. So, but they are finding it very difficult even to get it.
Is it the case that they are not meeting the conditionalities?
Not for the conditionalities, they are meeting it because it is a matter of interest that they are going to pay. Yes, but the system is hard. The banks are also facing challenges. Yeah, so they are not able to get as much as they would have expected. But what they have got so far is 2.54 billion, and I think they have used that to pay for projects, and even some of the vehicles that you see, those big buses, that's the money they use the money. Yes. In fact, if they had used all that money for projects, I think they would have completed a lot of projects that were abandoned, that came to a standstill, as the E-block, the dormitory blocks that are all scattered all over the senior high schools, the 6 unit classrooms blocks that are scattered all over our basic schools in the country. So the efficient management of the fund is also a challenge, because the administration or the administrators of the fund would have wished that, let us use everything for projects. Yeah, but government interest is also in making sure that, you can think of having projects executed. We want vehicles, we want motorbikes for our schools. That is where the challenge is.
And so the focus will be shifted.
Yeah, that's what has happened.
Okay, but upon all this need assessment, how do we deal with the schools and the trees, particular challenge that we've been faced with all these years? Now, the question again is that we are having economic difficulties or challenges, but we still have these problems existing. How do we deal with them?
Well, I believe that if Kessben is well resourced, they are given all that is due to them. Look at from July last year, and this is March, about 9 months now. You have not given them any money to pay contractors, to continue with projects. We will not be heading anywhere. So what is important is the Ministry of Finance must make sure that whatever is due Kessben is given to them regularly, because the law is that after 30 days of collecting the levy, transfer it to Kessben.
But Minister has been very sincere with us by telling us that there are financial challenges, there are difficulties with our economy. So the more reason why we needed the e-levy to cushion some of this statutory payment and all. But you, the minority side, is refusing to agree to that fact.
No, you have collected the money already. You see, it is not anything that anybody is owing that you are going to pay on behalf of the person. You have collected the money on behalf of Kessben already. July, August, September, up to even this March, you have collected the Kessben levy on behalf of Kessben. So where is the money? Give it to them.
Kessben is in arrears of how many months?
It's for 9 months now.
They are in arrears.
Yes, and they are due to present their 2022 formula to Parliament for approval before we rise on the 8th of April. Yes, so if they don't do it, then you have essentially lost that opportunity and you can spend money. You see, so before the 31st of this month or 8th of April, we must approve Get Farm formula before they can spend any money for in 2022.
And the formula will determine how much will go to all the agencies, I guess.
Yes, like when it is 1.4 billion, that is in the budget for them. They will come with a breakdown of how they are going to spend it because of the basic, secondary, and then tertiary. So they will have to distribute the money accordingly. How much will go to University of Ghana? How much will go to Cape Coast University? They will do all those things and appear before the Committee on Education. Then we will discuss it with them. How much will go to Scholarship Secretariat? How much will go into Student Loan Trust Fund? They will bring all those things. We will sit down, and where we find it appropriate, well, this one is okay. Where we have a challenge, go back, do it. We give you 24 hours, do it, and then come back to us. Then when that is done, then we recommend it to the full house. So we'll have a committee of the whole, and then we'll discuss it before we go to plenary. That is how we do it. So every year we do that. But that is just the procedure. But the actual thing is, how is the money released to them? If the money is not released to them, then they become handicapped. They cannot do otherwise. So the Ministry of Finance cannot tell us that it's only the e-levy that they can collect before they pay that money, because people are paying already. It is not a new thing that we are going to introduce. When you collect it on my behalf, give it to me. Go and solve your own problem.
Very well. And it's exactly 9 minutes after 9. Many durable Peter Nochu and Edin Komo, Akatsi North, Emrashe Begani, Select Committee on Education, ranking member, and Yedin Komo. You are starting from the basic level of education. Now, challenges, no, Bebrinano, Ewo, Yedika, Wabosuno, textbooks. Or say for over 3 years now, in Femi and Sanye, school more for a war basic level, no primary school, EBPM, JHS, no, one more textbooks are, one more Eddie Asian dear. Maybe they say teacher for no manual, one more they tried and was no, that is not the standard way to go. And you know, uniformity and uniformity, no, and say, Obi Echo SDA Primary B, Ebin so Ewo ABA, Achimota Primary C, MA. And then you know, woman in so many the same textbooks. Now, woman in ano, additional woman in ATV, and no debate me about one more. Say, a cobani say, one more cotton, say, I control BC, so here. But one TSC say, up till now, publishers, as I say, publish a book, no Ministry of Education, into me and cash. Maybe say, one more, and a committee, one more share additional, so one brush a now, woman in ministry, no, NGS, a din sour, so, and a dear pan, a problem, no. Was you with him because one be some minister be no a minister. Uraya we do chum say one guswa one to ma one guswa moseniema. I feel crowd the one guswa one more be books there be printing books no a din komo akasa said they be or be but now still now one nim baby as an commodie no aquacosi was in this week. Nanka say committee no Asia minister, but when to me man to almost share anymore say now what you are be simono you bet me I said we're raising concern about schools now a word we are no, especially in Kruanke to anaseno. Mofra eda for mu esunya de get fund na nka so ye de project na ni ade ni na pressure e was our fund so maybe say apart from get fund no fund the baby me wa eba na oman ya de sua ho sema ye de ebo ho bra or say there are other sources enkrofo eboa in terms of projects foundation for ne your friend is an individual philanthropist but will you get fund if you are oman yankasa yen share down the fund bia eba no scholarship secretariat eba no student loan trust for no so a womu nyina no womu gye omusika e de free get fund anymore enti say aban amfa womusika ama womu anache say education ho nsem no akwakoye bibia eho enti baby ayabo nkomo no aba bedro no mame monitor fa emfama na afe yento aso na yenko ye 11 minutes after 9. Oh, let me come back to you and let's deal with the second cycle education now. The minister Dr. Yaweduchum has turned attention to STEM schools, and we are told that across the country, several of such projects and initiatives are being taken. We are introducing STEM schools for our students to be able to acquaint themselves with science, mathematics, technology, and among the others, the current trends that will help and propel us on as a country. What is the current state of our second cycle institutions, and what is the current state of free SHS?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, the senior highest level of education, that is secondary level,
yes,
or secondary schools, is facing a lot of challenges, as well as the basic, as I said. Let me begin with the STEM. You know, during the days of President Rawlings,
yeah,
what he did was to establish what we call science resource centers in a number of secondary schools. And they were supplied with a bus, that yellow bus in those days. Yeah, long buses, so that schools in the area which did not have the resource center, they will use those buses to convey them for their science practicals. Yeah, that was the idea, and that was the beginning of STEM.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, you know, you had this program of workshop for the girl child. They were taking them to a number of places, I think at the regional level and then to national level. They had a workshop for them on science education. Then they expanded it. Boys also joined, and then it became the science and mathematics workshop those days. Now, it was extended to include mathematics and engineering and technology. Yeah. So some of us are happy about the STEM program, but the level at which they are taking it is what is our challenge. Because if you go and establish specific schools as STEM schools, put up nice structure, how many secondary school students will benefit from it? If it is only one in every region, it is not going to help everybody. So I would have preferred the resourcing of science laboratories in all schools in the country, as President Rawlings wanted to do. So that if you go to Achimota, they have their science resource center. They don't need, nobody doesn't need to go to the STEM institution or school to do it. There's going to be competition to go over there. And you cannot accept all or admit all of them into that school. So I would prefer that the ministry did this in every secondary school. Just make sure that they have very good science laboratory.
Yes, but you agree with me that we need to create a niche as a country, and there has to be, in terms of priority, we need to know where we are placing ourselves. Now, generalization of these science resource centers, or better still, equipping all science laboratories, is still where we are, because we've had that for several years now. The minister's focus, the government's focus is to establish these STEM schools. If you are a student at the second cycle level and you want to acquaint yourself with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, then this should be your choice. Don't you think that is the right way to go? Because we will be able to develop more engineers from that aspect.
Yeah, I am saying that the STEM institutions, they are good. But what is important is that don't neglect the senior high, all the senior high schools, because it's not going to be possible for everybody, every child in the second school who wants to do science, to have admission or gain admission to that school. If they are admitting maybe 500 a year, look at Accra or Greater Accra, the science students. Can they all go there?
Yes,
no,
but it still doesn't mean we are doing away with the general.
Yes, but what is happening is that with the introduction of this, the science laboratories in our senior high schools are not going to receive the necessary or the needed attention.
Is that what the government has said?
That is not government has said, but that is what we perceive is going to happen. If you divert attention to only those institutions and neglect what is existing already, you see, everybody will be tempted to apply to go there. So if I don't go to the STEM school, then that means the science pre-sec is not as rich as that was STEM. So that's why I said that as you develop that one, make sure that you improve upon the facilities in the existing senior high schools so that going there may not have any serious advantage over somebody who is not there. Yeah, so...
Yeah, but how do we preempt once we have not seen the outcome of the STEM institutions? The first batch of STEM students haven't yet graduated for us to even have that sort of competition.
Well, but you must make sure that when something is going to happen, you must think ahead and see what are going to be the implications, what are going to be the advantages and disadvantages, so that you work on them immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, so we see that these are going to be the disadvantages. Some people will be disadvantaged. Yeah, so let's just make sure that as you develop your STEM schools, improve upon facilities at the senior high schools. Because some of them, as we speak now, they don't have the needed materials, equipment for their practicals, and that is affecting them. So if you don't do that and make sure that they also have equal opportunities, then some will be disadvantaged. That is why
the current state of free SHS. Do you think we should abolish the free SHS because of the current economic challenges we are facing?
No, the free SHS is a constitutional requirement. Article 25 of the Constitution.
Okay.
I think 2B says that there should be progressively free senior high school education. That was what President Mahama started some years ago. And this government said, okay, we can do it wholesale. And that is what they have done. So you cannot eat your cake and have it. So once you have entered it, you must continue. But if the government had listened to some of us when they were going to implement the project or the program, I don't think we would have been in the mess in which we are now.
What is the mess we are facing?
A number of them. One, funding. Funding has become so difficult for government. As we talk now, government is owing the buffer stock of about 300 million Ghana cedis for supply of food.
To the schools?
Yes, to the schools. And contractors are not ready to provide supplies again or send food items to the school, because when your funds are locked up, with what do you do your business? Yeah, so recently I learned they paid them about 123 million, but that was not enough. It was just a drop in the ocean. So they should make sure that funding is made available. Now, the government must release money to the schools for perishables and day-to-day management of the schools. Government is not releasing the money. In some cases, they even cut the fund, because if it is about, you have about 750 students who are in the boarding house, they can send you money for maybe about 650, and then or 700. The rest you will not get anything again. And those even running day schools, since the beginning of the year, they are yet to receive any money to run their schools. Yeah, so funding has become very, very difficult. So you see that even the supplies, it's only that the heads of the institutions cannot talk. What is happening? They cannot talk for fear of victimization. The food items that are supplied are shortchanged. For instance, somebody may have to supply a bag which is 100 kilograms. He supplies you with 70. You cannot say anything. 70 kilograms. You have to take it, kg. That is what is happening. And they cannot say it. But for those of us who want to make sure that the system runs very well, they are able to open to us so that we know the challenges they are facing, because we can only talk for them. So the challenges are there. Now, apart from funding, there is overcrowding in the dormitories. If you go down the...
We still have that challenge.
Seriously. If you wish, I can take you to 1 or 2 schools in the night. Even in Accra here, you will be shocked. They just put their mattresses on the ground and then they sleep. There's so much congestion, the heat in the room. So government is not doing much to decongest the dormitories. And we have a lot of projects that are abandoned. So why don't...
But government said he has completed a lot of the E-block projects. The dormitories as well, a lot of them are being initiated. Those ones that you left behind under President Mahama are being completed. So why do we still have this challenge persisting in our schools?
You know, for secondary education and the tertiary, year by year, the number increases.
Yeah,
so as the number is increasing, you must make provision to meet that increasing number of students. So if you don't do it progressively, you cannot achieve any results. So you still have that over there, that challenge of accommodation over there. So everybody wants to be in the body house because we said they should be free. They must eat free 3 times. Anyway, this time they cannot even eat 3 times again. For breakfast, it's the same thing every day. If it is tea without bread, you only take tea with granite or whatever you can afford, or 1 egg. Then that is the whole week. That is what you will be taking. So the students, they are suffering, as somebody will say, students are suffering. The headmasters are suffering. Running the school has become very, very difficult for them. So government must make sure that they complete those projects. Those started by government, current government, are still not completed, many of them. We have gone around as a committee or as a minority, we have gone around the country to look at some of these projects. Yeah. And if, I can tell you that if government had completed those projects that were initiated by President Mahama, and those that they themselves have initiated since 2017, I can tell you that the challenge of overcrowding in our dormitories or classroom space.
But you're not also appreciating the fact that government has done some level of works in those sectors.
I have not said so. What I'm saying is that if they had completed even their own projects, I think we would have reduced the congestion. And if they had completed projects they inherited, we would have, this issue of a double track and congestion would have been things of the past in our schools. If you go, furniture too has become a problem. You see, they supplied poor quality beds to our schools, the senior high schools. So a few months or a year after usage of those steel beds, you see them destroyed. Go to some schools now, they just pack them as heaps of discarded iron materials, and they are there. So quality of material supplied to our schools, especially the senior high schools, is also a very big challenge.
Okay. But has anything changed in terms of funding with government's decision to fund the policy through oil revenues generated? Has anything changed with that?
You see, we have what we call a ABF, annual budget funding amount, from the oil listing. It is not everything from oil that you can use to fund secondary or education in general.
Was very emphatic that he's going to fund free SHS with oil revenue.
Yes, oil revenue. As I'm saying that, you see, when you come to usage of the oil revenue, you can use all the money in one sector.
Okay.
Do you see it? So we call it ABFA, annual budget funding amount from the oil revenue. So we have, I think, 4 major areas: education, health, agriculture, and infrastructure. Do you see it? So a certain percentage will be given for education, and that's what they are using solely for the senior high school. So basic level does not benefit from the oil revenue.
I see.
Yes.
So everything is going into free SHS.
Free SHS.
That is the aspect that comes to education.
Education, yes, goes into the free SHS, and that's what is happening. So, fine, they are using it. It is for the benefit of the student, but that is not enough. Because if you look at the budget, every year, as it is now, government needs more than 2 billion Ghana cedis to run the free senior high school.
In 2022?
Yes, and it is not coming. The money is not coming. So that is the problem we are facing. So, well, I cannot say government is not doing well. It's trying to do it, but you see, if you bite too much, chewing becomes a problem.
Do you think that the policy has to be abolished?
Well, constitutionally, you can abolish it. It's a constitutional requirement.
What should government do?
Government must sit back and review the policy. Yes.
By doing what? What would be the best alternative?
Well, when you say it at times, you say government should, when it's mentioned review, they say you should cancel it. That is not the point. You see, when they say progressively free senior high school education, it doesn't mean go and feed everybody 3 square meals a day. You see, and this is what government has failed to listen to. See, feeding people in school is no joke. And it takes more than 90% of the cost of running secondary schools in the country. Because even if it is 20 cedis or 10 cedis a day for each student, multiply it by over 1 million students per day and see what government is spending. So we have been of the view that government must engage parents and tell them the truth. That, no, where I have reached now, I cannot continue with a free meal for your wards. So let's sit down and see how best we can solve the problem.
So
I can tell you
that government shouldn't absorb every cost.
Yes,
there are certain aspects that government can absorb.
Yes,
and there are certain aspects that the parent must absorb as well.
Yes, that's why we engage in this community-day secondary schools, the E-block, because government will find it very difficult to feed everybody. So you stay at home. There are buses that will convey you to the school. When you close, the buses will take you back home. You see, so if you go to Nigeria, that is what they have. They have community day schools all over. A few number of junior high schools, 1 senior high school. So you just commute from home to school. Then you come back home. You see, this time we want to look good before people. So you just bring our children, your children, will feed them for you. And this is where we have reached now.
Unfortunately, I've run out of time. Right? So we would have to do a part 2 of this to tackle the tertiary level and see the pertaining challenges. But what will be your final conclusion on all that we have discussed this morning? And then the challenges we see with our economy.
Yeah, let me start with that of education, the free senior high school. Government must be bold and tell Ghanaians the challenges they are facing. And see how best, as a nation, we can remodel the free senior high school project so that everybody can benefit from it. You don't send children to school only to become malnourished. They must be satisfied and then learn. Then government must make sure that the GET fund is decapped. I will continue to fight for them so that they can get enough money and then provide facilities for our schools. Then for the economy, government must cut down on frivolous expenditures and make sure that they save money. So many appointees at the office of the president, they must make sure that then these quick salaries that CEOs are earning, we need to look at it. There are CEOs in Ghana who earn 3 times the salary of the president. And that is not.
That has been there since time immemorial.
Yes, this is the time for us to look at it.
Okay. I will thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful that you joined us this morning. I wish we do this again for a part 2 to discuss the tertiary level and matters that are arising from that sector of our education as well. I'm grateful for your time this morning.
I'm grateful too.
Okay.
And have a good day.
Have a good day too. And to the Honorable Peter Nochu, ranking member for Ghana Select Committee on Education, and Afeiso Akatsi North, Mrashebe Jeni, and Adope Meneno Eddie and Kobono.